Sportscast, August 28th, 2019. If you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels. Facebook, Periscope, iTunes, and YouTube. And if you're in iTunes, please subscribe. Leave a rating and review. It will help us out in the ratings. The Florida Gators open up the 2019 season with a 24-20 win over Miami Hurricanes in a back-to-back kind of sloppy back-and-forth game. And no other person that can talk to us of what happened to Florida, but they still won, is Ryan Christa. Ryan, welcome back to the Sportscast.
Hey, Santiago. It's good to talk to you. Football is back. It's an exciting time around, the sports world. Good to have college football back, ending preseason NFL football with, it's just very soon before we get kicking off the NFL games. But last week, we dabbled in a little bit of real football, which was nice to watch, and we got to see my beloved Florida Gators take on the U.
Pretty exciting. Obviously, there was some points of the game that we thought Miami was going to win, and some other points of the game that Florida was going to win. But at the end of the day, Florida won. The quarterback wasn't that rosy. Miami's quarterback turned out to be way better. What were your thoughts about Florida? Is this a little bit of a hiccup game, or you think this is what you expected? Obviously, it's first game of the year.
One of the greatest things you'll hear, after, first week of games is this team is good, this player is good, this team isn't good, this player isn't good, we're going to have a great year, we're going to tribute. That's all, we need to hold our horses here a little bit, Santiago. You remember in college football, there's no preseason games, they have limited action, It's hard to really judge a team. We throw a number next to some, 25 teams, and we guess who's going to be good. Florida ended the season good last year, so we're going to throw them a number 8 number, in the polls. Are they the eighth best team in the country? They didn't play like it did Saturday. I'll take a look at this game as a fan. I was excited they won that game. It wasn't pretty, like you said. They had a chance early on in the second quarter to really kind of put that game away, but they fumbled twice. They could have, really created some separation, and then Miami came back strong, into the second quarter, third quarter. They took a lead going into halftime, and that's, Florida kind of turned it up, moved the ball a little bit better in the third quarter, got a nice break of themselves on the most times, and they capitalized. It was good to capitalize on mistakes. And finish them off. So, that was nice to see. That the defense, the pass rush was awesome. 10 sacks, that's a huge number. You'd like to have 10 sacks in, about a month's worth of football, not alone just one game. So that was nice to see that. With Zuniga and Grenard really on the edges. But a lot of those sacks are, not just rushes, but, coverage. I mean, it's great having Marco Wilson back, and C.J. Henderson on the other side, what they did struggle with the tackling, Santiago, oh my goodness, it was like trying to catch a Bruce Pig trying to tackle some of the Hurricanes the other day, That's something, but that's just going to happen in the first game, And typically, I got a little tangent on this later on I'll talk to you about, but typically, especially in college football, you're either playing a really marquee game or you're playing against, a really weak team. Typically, Florida starts off with a really weak team. But going against a tough competition like Miami, you're going to be a little bit vulnerable and show some of your weaknesses that, you got to work on. But, overall, very sloppy. The last drive, Miami had the ball for 4 minutes and drove the ball 1 yard. It was a crazy end of the game. Florida had a point in 34, and, and they were undisciplined, Again, first game it is, making a lot of, mistakes that, hopefully they can be coached out of. Now, focusing on Felipe Franks, the quarterback for the Gators, all off season, we hear about how good he's going to be, how much improvement. The last 4 games, he really took over the team. the way he threw the ball, ran the ball. We talked about, in previous shows how many weapons he's got back this year. It just didn't seem like it was clicking on all cylinders. What I did like is, early on they got the ball in the hands of the playmakers, Kadarius Toney, got him in the space, and he's a guy who's going to make, players miss, that's what happened on the first touchdown before, just a simple screenplay, and he breaks through tackles, 60 yards later, Florida takes the lead. Well, I wanted to see a little bit more, getting some of our playmakers involved, and Jefferson, Grimes, but, kind of guy we really didn't talk a whole lot about, and that's Frankie Hammond, made a couple of crucial catches, along with, when they had trailing in the fourth quarter, caught a long pass down the middle of the field to kind of set up the Florida go-ahead touchdown pass. So it was nice, to see that they got a lot of people involved, but, we want to see some of the playmakers get the ball in the hands a little bit more. Speaking of playmakers, Florida did not rush the ball as well as we were hoping to do. 54 yards total. Knock up T. Ryan, while he made a lot of great, plays, to help the team, on fourth downs, tough plays, catching the ball out of the backfield for a touchdown. We just really weren't able to get any of the running game going with him and Pierce and Lloyd Davis. Things that'll get going, they got a week off, and then they go PC9. So I'm not too worried that you're going to be able to fine-tune a couple of things before they got, a couple of SEC games, at Kentucky at home against Tennessee, where, hopefully we put a couple of those pieces together and learn from the mistakes, Again, that was a game they could have obviously lost on Saturday, but, the fan in me in the initial reaction said, okay, it was good to get that win, but then you take a couple of steps back and you saw the areas that they struggled in. But, talking to you, Santiago, my South Florida and Miami resident, I'm very excited for the Hurricanes in their future. Manny Diaz was the right man for the job. That team fought hard. They might have had, as much talent as Florida, but they're a little bit more underdeveloped. You could see the cultural change. And I think Jalen Williams played well. He was under a lot of pressure. Didn't turn the ball over. And, you could see, he made some mistakes, taking a couple of sacks, but he also got out of pressure a couple of times and made a couple of crucial plays to keep the Hurricanes in the game. I definitely think, their competition isn't going to be strong throughout the year. And I think this team, after watching, I think I would almost change my prediction that I think, that this Miami team could definitely win their side of the division in the ACC.
Yeah, something that really looked like I think Miami has some promise. We'll see if they can win the Coastal. From this game, do you think they can win the Coastal?
Absolutely, Santiago. There's no one as near talented in the Coastal Division as Florida. Like, you gotta get better. 10 sacks is a long player who you're playing. But you give Jaron Davis some time, I think he's got enough playmakers. Jeff Thomas is quite the receiver, speedy. KJ Osborne, the Buffalo transfer, good in, the running back Dallas. He's a tough guy to bring down. So, yes, I do think they could definitely win the Coastal Division.
We'll see what happens. Let's read the stats. Felipe Franks had 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Perrine had 42 yards. Felipe Franks had 8 yards of rushing. And receiving, Josh Hammond had 93 yards. And, of course, Kadarius Toney had 66 yards, 1 touchdown. Toney was the man, like the star of the game, again, for Florida. But do you think Florida might drop a few places, or do you think they'll stick around 8 after this weekend?
I think they may drop a place. We'll see what happens this week and how the teams fare around them. Like I said, on the bye, sometimes you can drop, sometimes you move. But they'll be anywhere from 7 to 10, I think.
Let's move on to Liberty football. Liberty plays their first FBS match this weekend against Syracuse on Saturday at 6 p.m. What are your expectations for this game?
Well, Santiago, as we're 2007 Liberty ones, we were here at the very beginning, Santiago. We were at games when there was, 10, 12 people in the stadium, Santiago? You remember those days?
Yeah, more or less.
Um, where, football is kind of an afterthought on campus. I, one of the main reasons why I attended Liberty, obviously being a Christian university, but, a school that I thought, cared a lot about athletics, I got to see a lot of great athletics, as freshmen, the basketball team going to the NCAA tournament was great. But, I quickly learned that, football wasn't king on campus, the first 3 games as a freshman, they lost 43-0, 50-0, and 53-3. So I was quickly learning, this team, this program wasn't a big thing, they didn't put a lot of resources into it, but I had hopes, as we, during those first 3 years in the Tim Clark chair, kind of hit rock bottom, our junior year when they went 1-11. And this, quickly turned the positive, bringing in Danny Rocco, along with transferring Rashad Jennings, there's a little bit more momentum going on football. The crowds got a little bit bigger. People kind of paid a little bit more attention. But, this team is still an FCS team. Still, lacked going to the playoffs. They were winning a lot of games, but they couldn't win the big games. We graduated, more and more momentum was going into football, a lot more expectation. They, 2014, they made their first trip to the playoffs, and winning their first game against James Madison. The program is starting to turn the corner. But, didn't really go far in the playoffs. But, the money is being spent. The administration wanted football to be very important. Jerry Falwell Jr. Made that known. They bring in Turner Gill, who I think that, wasn't able to get us to the next level, but he was able to bring us to the point to get to the next level, and that's why hiring Hugh Freeze was so important. This is a guy who beat Nick Saban 2 years in a row, had a lot of success in the SEC. We know his personal troubles. They're well documented. We know he's got flaws, but we also know how to grade a coach, and we also know, he's ready for a fresh start. And it was kind of a perfect match, Is he a long-term answer? I don't know. It'd be nice. Like, this might be the perfect fit to get Liberty to the next level. If he gets back into coaching, we don't know. But, 2 years ago, they announced this game. They announced they were going to the, SBS, moving from the championship subdivision. This is huge, Santiago.
How critical is Frazee? He had a heart condition this past couple of weeks. You think he'll be okay for the rest of the season?
He had back surgery last week. He had a staph infection. But this guy grinded, Santiago. It's kind of cool to see a lot of the behind the scenes. He was literally coaching from his hospital room in Charlottesville. With cameras and all that. This administration brought Hugh Freeze in for this game. For this game and more. This is a signature moment, Santiago. I will be there Saturday night, 6 o'clock. It's going to be awesome to see. I remember those moments when there wasn't many people in the stands, and people would just show up for the game. But now, there's a lot of attention. There's national attention on a Liberty splitting it. We're not just hosting a top 25 FCS team. We're hosting the top 25 own subdivision teams. And I gotta pinch myself when I think about things like that. That's crazy. There's going to be some growing pains going to the FCS. There's going to be good moments. There's going to be bad moments. There's going to be times when we're going to win a huge game, and there's going to be times we're going to be just outmatched because it takes time. You know, and we might be outmatched Saturday, Santiago. But, you know, having 25,000 people at this team plus, you know, the changing of the environment, you know, that's what's going to be really winning the day Saturday, Santiago. What happens on the scoreboard, I'm not quite sure. But I'm a really sports fan, who cares about the athletic program. It's going to be awesome to see.
It's going to be it's going to be interesting to see. We'll see if they give them a challenge. Liberty gives a challenge to Syracuse. They're actually ranked number 22 in the AP poll, so we'll see what happens. Late breaking news, Alabama All-American linebacker Dylan Moses is out for the season with a torn ACL. How much of an impact will that be for Alabama?
It's huge news, Santiago. This is one of the best defensive players in the country. And we all know they will reload and they will find somebody else. They also step up. You know, right now we might not know them. There are a lot of young players. You know, luckily they're not playing the world beaters. They're going to be playing Duke on Saturday. Duke's well coached, but, you know, they lose their first-round quarterback. You know, I just don't think this is going to be a very good game. It'll probably be good to get some experience with some younger players, but this is a huge loss for the overall season for Alabama. This is a guy I think will be, you know, the first or second rounder. That's definitely a player who is going to play in the NFL for a long time. I don't know if I feel bad for Alabama, but I do feel bad for this kid because he's a heck of a player.
This will test Alabama's depth this weekend. Well, not this weekend, for this season, so we'll see what happens. Anything else before we head into game predictions?
One thing I do is, you know, a lot of overreactions on Wednesday, first week. You know, between week 0 last week, this week, you know, we're going to judge teams. But as I said earlier, let's put on the brakes. Let's not judge teams. Let's not judge conferences. Let at least the first month of September. Let the non-conference games play out. Then we'll see how good teams are. We know every game is important in college football. You know, one loss can really define you. But let's pump the brakes a little bit. But what I'm really disappointed in, though, is this week there's 42 games against FBS versus FCS teams, Santiago. One thing I look forward to about week 1 is the stellar matchups. We only have one matchup between two top 25 teams, and that's between Oregon and Auburn. We have a lot of interesting matchups, and I think we're going to have great games. Because, again, you know, we can't really judge teams before they play. But, you know, I think we could have a big game between Oklahoma and Houston. That could be a fun watch. You know, maybe Mississippi State moves in along. Who knows? Santiago? We don't know. But I'm just a little disappointed in the amount of FBS versus FCS games in week 1. You know, and I know this will change. You know, every week you seem like you see a new matchup in the future between, you know, power teams, which are doing attention. But, you know, for this week, it's going to be a little bit of a bummer seeing, you know, a lot of mismatched games.
Should be pretty exciting. Let's head into predictions. First, Georgia at Vanderbilt.
There's nothing like early season conference football. This game is played in Vanderbilt, but I will bet 70% of the stadium will be wearing red and barking all game long. Georgia wins big.
Clemson at Georgia Tech.
First ever game on the ACC network being played tomorrow on Thursday. Georgia Tech in a big transition. They hired Jeff Collins from Temple. With Paul Johnson retiring, Paul Johnson is going to play this triple option football. So they've got a whole identity crisis right now as they move out from the triple option. And it's probably a worst case scenario going against the most talented team in the country, and that being Clemson. So it's going to be a rough day, you know, being in Death Valley for Georgia Tech. So a big win for Clemson Thursday night.
Oklahoma versus Houston.
I think this is going to be a fun matchup, Santiago. A lot of points. Dana Holgorsen coming from West Virginia back home to Houston with their star quarterback, Eric King. If you remember 2 years ago, Santiago, Oklahoma came to Houston with Baker Mayfield and Martha Key Ryan and Joe Milton. And they got boat raced by Ed Oliver and the Houston Cougars that day. But so Oklahoma will be looking for a little bit of revenge, and I think they'll get it. First thing for Jalen Hurts. We'll see what Lincoln Riley has in store for him this year. He's got back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners in Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. So I think Jalen Hurts will definitely have a nice coming out party. And I think, Oklahoma wins an entertaining game, but they'll win comfortably by about 2 scores.
Northwestern at Stanford.
This is the nerd alert game, Santiago. Two great academic institutions playing against each other. Two teams that are well-coached and very physical. I think just because this game is in Stanford, I'm going to go with the Cardinal winning this game.
And finally, the biggest game of the weekend, Oregon versus Auburn.
I'm back and forth on this game a lot, Santiago. I can give you reasons why I think Oregon and their offensive line, Justin Herbert, that they should win this game, but Auburn's got a lot of talent, Santiago, a great defensive line. I think that's where the game is going to be won. Is it going to be Auburn's offensive line versus I think the best defensive line in football, Santiago, with Auburn. But Auburn's got a brand new quarterback, Bo Nix, who I think will have a great career. But Auburn, they're just always a tough team to read. It's feast or famine for the Tigers. And it's really too early to tell, so I'm going to go with what I do know, and that's how good the Oregon Ducks are going to be. So I'll pick the Ducks in this game.
Ryan goes with Tyler. Random question, yeah. What is your favorite type of dog?
The Bulldogs, Santiago. Those innings. No
correlation with the Georgia Bulldogs.
No, not my favorite dog. Georgia Bulldogs. So I think I'm not a dog owner right now. Santiago, but if I have to choose one, I definitely.
That's a good thing. I'm not a believer in pets.
But one closing thought before Santiago, this is a huge weekend for the Pac-12. There's a lot of negative attention going on with the Pac-12, and this weekend is going to be a great weekend if Oregon wins, if Stanford wins, if Oregon State can beat Minnesota, if UCLA is going to play Cincinnati. If they win a lot of these games, I think this Pac-12 should get a lot of positive attention. But if they end up losing these games, it'll be the name could go and then go on a smearing of how bad the Pac-12 conference is. I think a huge game for the Pac-12 also is Utah and BYU. Utah is supposed to be kind of the cream of the crop for the Pac-12, if they end up losing that opening game, that's not a good look for the conference. So I'm hoping good for my friends out on the West Coast that, they can make a lot of positive impact this weekend. We'll
see if they can change their schedule to 9 a.m. games so they'll have higher viewership. But anyways, we got to go. Ryan, what is the best way for people to reach you to talk to you about Dan Mullen?
On Twitter, I'm an ad report. This weekend I'll be in Minster. We'll be tweeting a lot about the Liberty Syracuse game. Exciting times to be playing and exciting time to be a college football fan, Santiago.
It's a good feeling. Opening, you could say week one's this week. Last weekend was week 0, but it's going to be a lot of games this weekend. Looking forward to Auburn versus Oregon. Houston and Oklahoma is another big one, and Northwest versus Stanford. The other ones are just pretty mediocre. But yeah, really, really excited about this weekend. Follow us on the sportscast.net and on Twitter, the Sportscast1. We'll have live coverage over the Oregon versus Auburn, live tweeting with Ty Turner. And, of course, I'll have the latest on the if you go on the sportscast.net. We didn't have time to talk about Andrew Luck, but maybe next time, right, Ryan?
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we'll do more of NFL next time I get on the podcast here.
All right. Thank you very much.
Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.